What's up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne and you're watching TaiwanPlus. Taiwan's defense ministry says more Chinese balloons have flown directly over the country. The ministry says 3 balloons passed over Taiwan on Tuesday. Another crossed the median line of the Taiwan Strait. It's the second day in a row that balloons were reported around the country. The ministry didn't say whether the latest balloons were civilian or military, but it has said before that most such balloons have been weather balloons. No issue dominates Taiwan's elections more than China. Taiwan's 2 main political parties have long locked horns on the best way to manage the country's relationship with its neighbor. But this election, a third party has entered the fray, offering what it says is a new and better solution. Jeremy Olivier takes a look at how these different camps are confronting the China factor.
The People's Republic of China, just across the Taiwan Strait, it's Taiwan's biggest neighbor, its largest source of two-way trade, and its biggest security threat. That's because China claims Taiwan as its own, and increasingly threatens to take the island nation by force. So how to manage relations with this large and imposing neighbor is the big question in Taiwan politics, with the country's various parties offering competing visions of healthy cross-strait ties. For 4 decades, Taiwan was a one-party dictatorship, governed by the Kuomintang, or KMT, the party of the Chinese nationalists who fled to Taiwan after China's Civil War. They were the sworn enemies of the Chinese communists and jailed or executed anyone they suspected of collaborating with China. But today, the KMT promotes friendlier China ties under something called the 1992 Consensus. That's an unwritten agreement between the KMT and the Chinese Communist Party that says both sides of the Taiwan Strait belong to one China. The KMT says it allows Taipei and Beijing to have their own understanding of what that means. The 1992 Consensus has become a major focus of the current presidential race. KMT candidate Hou You-yi supports the idea, but says it needs to be in line with the Constitution of the Republic of China, Taiwan's official name.
我接受合乎中华民国宪法的九二共识，我反对一国两制的九二共识，我更坚决反对蔡英文总统污蔑化的九二共识。
Hou's main rival, incumbent Vice President Lai Ching-te of the Democratic Progressive Party, has a different view of the relationship. His party prefers a more cautious approach to China, something emphasized by outgoing President Tsai Ing-wen. Under her 8-year DPP administration, Taiwan has pushed for better relations with what it calls like-minded partners, such as the US and Japan. It's also boosted defense spending and worked to diversify trade and investment away from China. Lai has promised to continue on that path should he win the presidency, saying the KMT is stuck in the past when it comes to cross-strait relations. He and the DPP reject the 1992 Consensus, arguing that it's simply another way of accepting Beijing's view that Taiwan is part of its territory. But he's promised to work on repairing the relationship, as long as Beijing agrees to cooperate with him.
我愿意跟中国进行交流合作，促进两岸人民的福祉。我会不卑不亢，维持现状。
But Hou and Lai are not the only ones looking to win this election. Former Taipei Mayor Ko Wen-je has brought his own ideas on China to the race, as the candidate for his third force Taiwan People's Party. Founded by Ke only 4 years ago, the party has yet to form a solid platform on many issues, mostly selling itself as an alternative to Taiwan's two-party deadlock. The Taiwan People's Party's official stance on cross-strait relations is to maintain peace with China while upholding Taiwan's sovereignty. Ke says the KMT and DPP's China approaches have failed time and again. He promotes what he calls the 5 mutuals, encouraging Taiwan and China to recognize, understand, respect, cooperate, and empathize with each other.
在越来越紧张的中美与两岸关系之间，我们都同意维持现状、追求和平是美中台之间的最大公约数。
As voters head to the polls on January 13th, they'll be faced with 3 different visions of Taiwan's future approach to China. How they choose will set the course for cross-strait relations for at least the next 4 years. But regardless of who's elected, the issue of China will continue to loom large in Taiwan's politics. Scott Huang and Jeremy Olivier for TaiwanPlus.
2 members of a pro-China political party are being investigated for allegedly helping China influence Taiwan's presidential election. They're accused of acting on orders from Chinese government officials to organize cheap Taiwanese tour groups to China late last year. Taipei prosecutors say the suspects promoted cross-strait unification and urged the travelers to vote for their party. The two have been released on bail as prosecutors investigate the case. A boat seized in Taiwan's largest ever drug bust has been auctioned off. Authorities cracked the case last November, seizing amphetamine and ketamine with a combined street value of over $75 million. The boat went up for auction on Tuesday with an opening price of around $90,000. The 500-ton boat ended up going for around $230,000, a price the winning bidder says is a bargain.
因为我们在那个印尼那边还有一些船只在运，在那边的话，船大概都要4、5千万，这种类型的船，是还蛮划算的。
Rescue workers in Japan are racing against the clock to find survivors of the massive earthquake that hit on Monday. At least 62 people were killed after the 7.6 magnitude tremor shook Noto Peninsula, toppling houses and triggering tsunami alerts. Tens of thousands of residents who were evacuated are waiting for essential supplies to arrive. To find out more about earthquake resilience in the region, Sally Jensen spoke to earthquake expert Wu Zuoren from Taiwan's National Central University.
The aftermath of Japan's recent earthquake has been fairly minimal, and it's had experts saying that it demonstrates Japan's resilience. Would Taiwan survive a similar scale tremor?
We have a notorious earthquake. We call it GG earthquake. And the earthquake magnitude was 7.4. And this time, the Japan earthquake was 7.6. So we know that the GG earthquake actually damaged Taiwan a lot, and more than 2,000 people died in that event. But I have to say, currently, the law, the regulation says that the new buildings has to satisfy the new regulation, which has to can be survived under like a GG earthquake, which is very close to Japan earthquake. So I think if the earthquake happened in Taiwan, basically the damage will be much limited.
Is it true that earthquakes happen in cycles? And when is Taiwan due for another major earthquake?
I used to use the two hands. Okay, if one tectonic submerged to the other one, then we can feel that for this one, we can feel like there's that kind of friction, vibration. This vibration has has a frequency. Then we can picture that this earthquake also has a frequency. So based on the popular knowledge about the return period, like Japan, that kind of earthquake, the return period will be in between 20 to 40 years.
Why wasn't there a tsunami as big as originally reported? Does Taiwan also get tsunamis, and how can people stay safe?
Taiwan does have tsunamis. Just recently, we don't have so many large tsunamis. We will try to use the worst case scenario to generate the tsunami scenario. So that's why for this kind of short period of tsunami early warning, usually the warning height of tsunami height will be bigger than the real observation tsunami. So that's why Japan says 5 meters, but actually they only have about 1 meter. So I would say if really you got the tsunami warning, then please just go to the roof of your building. The roof might be the 3rd floor, might be the 4th floor, or even higher. Then you'll be safe.
That was earthquake expert Wu Zuoren speaking with Sally Jensen. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. If you like what you saw, you can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media. Finally, check out the Carreta Carnival celebrating the new year in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Yvonne Yang. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching Taiwan Plus. Be sure to follow us on social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world.